Hello everyone. Just as I promised, I have a video for you to watch. Um, we are starting with the practice. So if you have not finished the practice, I want you to stop the video now and I want you to finish the practice. After you finish the practice, then come back to the video and start playing. Mr. Hall will have distributed, Ms. Cromer will have distributed the pages you need for your notebook. So I'm going to start now with those pages. So if you have not finished the practice, please again stop the video, pause it or stop it, and then start it back at this slide. So I'm going to start with the new stuff for today. This is finding the max or minimum of a graph. First of all, I'm going to draw a graph, just a parabola. This is a quadratic where we had the minimum and the maximum. So just in general, talking about a min and a max so that you can remember the minimum is in the valley and the maximum is the peak. So the lowest point is the minimum in the valley. The highest point of the peak is your max. So remembering those two things will help you with your max and min. When we have a cubic, we can have a max and a minimum. Okay? And when we have a quartic, we can have a minimum and a max and two minimums, or we can have two maximums and one minimum. So minimum and maximum is what we're talking about on our graphs. Now, the relative maximum of a graph is a point that is higher, is what you're going to write in here. Now, at any time, if you want to stop the video, pause it, rewind to write down things, please do so. Okay, if any of you want to do the minimum and maximum, the graphs, make sure you put those on your paper so you have that to help you. The relative minimum of a graph is a point that is lower than all the other points. So in that peak, the max is the highest. In that valley, the minimum is the lowest. Okay, the lowest and the highest. Okay, so what you need to remember is sometimes if it's not a distinct peak and not a distinct valley, there is no max or min. So you could have some that do not have a max or a minimum. Okay? Okay, you're going to enter your equation into the y in y equals on your graph. Okay? So let me just pull that up, and I'm just going to show you what I'm talking about here while I do it. So we'll have something in y equals. I've already got something in y equals, so I'm just going to leave that there. I would press graph, and it graphs, and then I'm going to do second trace, okay? So you're going to fill in trace right here, okay? So fill in second trace. Now you're going to do second trace on your calculator. Now you have option 3 and 4, okay? We have option 3 or 4 as your minimum and your maximum. So option 3 is minimum, and option 4 is maximum. So that was second trace, and then you hit minimum or maximum. You can't find them all at one time. So if you're finding your minimum, you're going to go like that to the minimum. And if you're finding your maximum, you go to the maximum. All right, then it talks about, the rest of it's just instructions. Move the blinking cursor to the left of your minimum or maximum, whichever one you're finding. Press enter. Then you move it to the right of the point and press enter. And then you move back over it to where you think a good guess is of the point and press enter. And it will give you exactly that. So now I'm going to go through a real example of a minimum for you and a maximum, okay? So we have that here. So taking the first one on the example, g of x, so we're going to look at this one first. I'm going to put this in my calculator. All right, so y equals is where I start because I said put it in your y equals first. So I've got negative x cubed and then I have plus 6x squared okay, minus 9x. Okay, graph. All right, so there it is. Now I'm going to do zoom 6 to get it back to normal graph so you can see what it should look like on yours if you do zoom 6 and get a normal graph. Okay, now we're going to find I'm going to pull this over here so I can talk about the picture. All right, we have a minimum right here, and we have a maximum right here. So those are the 2 points we want to locate, the minimum and the maximum. So I'm going to find the minimum first. So follow your little sheet. Okay, you're going to do second trace. And while I'm doing this, I want you to be doing this on your calculator. So make sure you got that in your y equals. We hit second trace together. Now we're going to minimum. Okay, it says left bound right here. Okay, does everybody see that? Left bound. All right, so we've got to be left bound of the point. So our minimum is here. So I want to be left of it. My blinking cursor has to be left of it. And then when I say right of it, I'm going to move it to the right of it. Okay, so I got to set a boundary, left bound, right bound. And then the point will be in the middle of that. So I'm left bound over here. So I am left bound, as you can see when I moved it. So I'm going to hit enter. That was left bound. Now I've got to go to the right of this point. So I'm going to move it a little bit to the right and hit enter. Now it says guess, so I'm going to go back to about where I think it is and hit enter. And there it gives me exactly where it is. And I'm at 1, -4. Okay, so let's see, can I move? No. All right. So these are in the way here. I'll just do another segment here. All right, so I'm going to move that one right here. So my answer for my minimum is 1, -4. And it is a point, so I want it 1, -4. All right, now we're going to go get the maximum. You do the same thing. Second trace, but I'm going to pick number 4, max. Then I'm going to move to the left of my maximum, so I'm on the left side of it, so hit enter. Now I'm going to move to the right and hit enter. And then I'm going to go back to guess, enter. And it gave me my maximum was at 2.999. So I'm going to round that to 3. So my max is at 30. So I'm going to write max 30. So I found my minimum and my maximum for that function. So that all those little graphs go with that. Okay? Just follow along with the sheet and follow me as far as saying left of it, right of it, and clicking on it. Okay? You have to click left bound, enter, right bound, enter, guess, enter. Okay? Now, I'm going to put in the next one. I'm going to do all 3 of these that are left, and then we will do some X and Y intercepts. Okay? So let's do this one next. So I'm going to put in h of x in my y equals. So I'm clearing and putting in negative x to the 4th. Okay. Plus 2x cubed. Plus 7x squared. Minus 8x. Minus 12. And graph. Okay. My problem with my graph is I can't see the bottom. So I'm going to go to the window and I'm going to make my y minimum -25. I don't know if that's enough. Let's see. Yes, now I can see it all. so I can see my maxes and my minimums. So I'm going to put this one down here. This is a max, and this is a max. That's the top of my peak, and the top of this peak, and this would be a minimum. So that's what I've got to find on my calculator. So now we do second trace. Hit that button. I'm going to pick max first, because the first one going left to right I hit is the maximum. So I'm going to move my blinking cursor to the left of that point. All right, I'm to the left of that point. Okay, to the left. All right, hit enter. Now it says right bound, so I'm going to go to the right of it and hit enter. And then I'm going to go back to guess and hit enter. And it gives me my maximum. Okay, that is at -1 point, so I'm going to say the max for this, one of them is -1.6. I rounded 4. Okay, so -1.6 and 4. All right. Now, next, when I go through the rest of the graph, is the minimum. So let's go find my minimum. So second trace, minimum. I'm left of it, hit enter. I'm right of it, hit enter. Guess, somewhere in there, hit enter. And there's my minimum. Okay. So here's the next one. So it's at 0.5 and -14. And that's a minimum. And this was the max. All right, now we still got one more max to go. So hit the calculator button, hit second trace, hit max. Got to be left of it, enter, go right of it, enter, and then go back and guess, enter. And there is my answer. Okay, so here's the maximum. So it's at 2.6 and 4. And this is the other max. Okay, so that's how you find the max and the min. Put it in your y equals, follow the instructions on the max and min. Now, I want you to find the answers for 2. F of x, give me the max and min. And g of x, give me the max and the min. So fill that in on your paper for both of those. I did number 1, you're doing number 2. Okay. Now, if you need to, pause it, finish those, and then continue on with the video because I'm going to x-intercepts next. Okay, you have another slip of paper. It says finding the x-intercept of a graph. And this is not, this equation right here, this function, is not on your paper. I want you to write that on your paper right now. F of x equals 2x cubed plus 8x squared plus 3x minus 2. So write that on your paper. Now fill in your little sheet. X-intercepts occur when x is 0. An x-intercept is when it crosses the x-axis. That's when the graph crosses the x-axis. Now, x-intercepts are also known as solutions. We already had this conversation earlier in the year. Zeros and roots. So if I ask you for any of those, it's still the x-intercept. So write that down. Solutions, zeros, and roots. Now, enter the equation into your y equals. We have that. You're going to press graph, open the calculate function, second trace. You're going to pick option 2, which is 0. And then you're going to go left bound, right bound, and guess just like we did before. So I'm going to show you the x-intercept using that function. So y equals clear 2x cubed plus 8x squared plus 3x minus 2. So put that in your calculator, hit graph. Okay, I'm going to hit back to zoom 6 so that my graph is normal. Okay, now I'm going to hit, I've got 3 places this crosses the x-intercept. So let me pull this out and let's talk about x-intercepts. It crosses here, here, and right in there. Okay, so that's my x-intercepts. I have 3 of them and I have to find each one. So I will have 3 different x-intercepts here. And you need to put this on your paper because you've put it in and you're going to find your x-intercepts. So now let's hit second trace. And we're going to pick option 2, 0. And then I'm going to be left bound of my first x-intercept. So I got to get past it now. This is where it gets tricky because it's above and below. So you can see the blinking cursor. I am below. It won't let me write on that. So hold on. Let me move it. Okay. So over here I am, this is my x-intercept. I'm below it, so I'm to the left. Remember, you read a graph left to right. We go this way. So below it and above it. So this is left, this is right. Okay, and then I'll guess on it. So everybody understand, below it is left of it, above it is right of it. The next one, I'll be left here and right here. And the next one, I'll be left here and right here. So you read the graph left to right. So left, left, right, left, right, left, right. Okay, so let me finish on the calculator doing left bound. Okay, so I'm going to hit enter. Now I'm going to move it above. I didn't have to hit far. Enter. And then I'm going to go back. It won't land on it, so I'm just going to hit guess in there. All right, it gave me exactly where my x-intercept is. Okay, so the x-intercept is, I'm just going to put this on top of this because you've already got everything now. Okay, so my first x-intercept is there. So it's negative 3.5 and 0. Remember, y will be 0, x is your number. So this is your first x-intercept. Now let's go find the second one. All right, second trace, 0. All right, I'm to the left of the point. So there's where my point is. So I'm above it, so hit enter. Now I'm going to go below it and hit enter, and go close to it and hit enter. And there's my next one. Okay. All right. So this one is negative 0.85 and 0. All right, so that's our second one. We got one more where it crosses. So do second trace, 0. All right, now I'm going to be left of it just right there because I haven't gone up enough. Enter. Now I'm going to go above it to the right. Go back and hit guess. And there's my last one. Okay, so it is at 0.3 and 0. So those are my 3 x-intercepts. All right. Now that's the x-intercept. The last one I have to show you is the y-intercept. It's the easiest of all of them. The y-intercept occurs when x is 0. I did put y as, no, I goofed. Oh my goodness. Y is 0 on the other one, y'all. I said x is 0. I'm so sorry. Go back and fix that. The x is 0. I mean, x is 0 on y is 0. So remember, when you have an x-intercept, you have x and 0. I'm sorry, I did that backwards. So your y is 0. So now when we go here, x is 0, so it looks like that. With y as your number, and x is 0. Okay. I'm going to put this function, so write this function down. This function's going in your function going in your calculator. Again, you're going to do second trace. Find the line on the table where, no, I'm not going to do this one, sorry. I forgot. I don't like option 1, so just mark it out. We're going to do option 2. Second trace. Option 1 is value. And x is 0. Sorry about that, about the y and x0. I didn't even realize I did it till I got over here, and I thought, I don't think I wrote that right on the other one. So make sure you go back to your x-intercept one and do fix that y is 0. Okay, x is 0. We're going to plug in this function. Y equals, I've got x to the 4th minus 8x, x cubed, plus, delete, plus 16 x squared. Okay, and then plus 4. All right, graph. And I can't see it, so I'm going to fix my window back up. I need to make y more on the top, so I'm going to do 30, graph. And now I can see it all. Okay. I don't really have to see it all because I'm not getting anything but the y where it crosses the y this time. But, okay, so crossing the y, somewhere in here is where it crosses the y. So in order to find it, we're going to do our, so you should have it graphed. Now hit your calculator. Second trace, pick number 1 value. Okay. Hit value. Okay, now I'm going to hit enter. And then I'm going to plug in 0 for x. Okay. And then I'm going to hit enter. So let me move these around a little bit. Sorry. All right. So now on my calculator, I'm going to hit enter because I entered 0, and it gives me my answer. So that's the easiest one. And so my y-intercept is 0, 4. And that's how you find a y-intercept. Okay. Now you have practice problems A, B, C, and D to finish. So let's just recap. You had to finish the practice problems from yesterday. So make sure you got all those done. Then you needed to follow me through the video for max or min, and I went through all the steps there. I found the max and the min on both the functions I put in the calculator. Then we found the x-intercept. Make sure you fix what Miss Hunter screwed up the first time. Sorry about that. And then the y-intercept. And then make sure you get these practice ones done. Okay? Now, you have create a roller coaster to do. So once you get done with this, you have the create a roller coaster to finish. And that's everything you need to do. And we will be ready for a quiz Monday. So study for this for Monday. I will recap everything and review, and we will quiz Monday at the end of class. So I hope you have a great weekend, and if you need to replay this video as many times as you need to, the good thing about this is you can rewind it, play it again, pause it, stop it, whatever you need to do. So hope you have a good day. Thanks. Bye.